This week on Taste Utah, we're in Ogden and visiting Rooster's B Street Brewery. Roosters has been a flagship restaurant on historic 25th Street for 25 years. Kim and Pete Bouchard have created more than a must-hit dining destination that brews fantastic beers and serves up amazing food. They've crafted an entire community of hospitality in Ogden, where every restaurant truly cares about one another's success. Kim and Pete have always made it a point to support local. They care about their customers and their city. They've chosen to raise a family and a restaurant empire in northern Utah. And they've taken their signature menu and beers to the west side of Ogden. What they offer this city is not only putting the love in the food, but a foundational cornerstone of care and camaraderie that is so indicative of our Utah food community. Taste Utah is more than your typical food show. It's about local flavor, from roots through authentically Utah restaurants. It's the people and the places that make Utah a dining destination. There's so much soil and earth to uncover and still so many great Utah restaurants to savor. We bring you the stories and we spread the love. The best thing about Utah, the views along the way, they're not bad either. We're not afraid to get our hands just a little dirty. Food is a necessity. It's how we create it and share it and experience it together that truly shapes our community. Whether you're choosing to dine in our dining rooms, order to go, or get delivery, you always have a seat at this table. Are you ready to taste Utah? We're in Ogden, so we're up north, but we're on the west side of Ogden. We're visiting Rooster's Brewing Company. So we first featured Roosters on historic 25th Street in our very premiere season. Now we're back. We're at their epic distribution and brewing facility and their tap room. We're gonna learn all about the finer nuances of a beer and also enjoy a little bit of food, because why wouldn't we? We'll mask up first though, right?
Katy.
Kim, how are you?
Welcome.
Good, thank you.
We are excited to show you around Roosters B Street Brewery, our latest project.
Oh my gosh, this building is phenomenal.
It's going to be fun to see. Okay, so we've got Steve Kirkland waiting back there in the brewery. He's our #1 brewer, and we'll bring you back to him, and then I'll loop up with you a little bit later.
Cool, we'll loop around later. Sounds good.
Follow
Thanks.
me.
Steve, I presume.
Katy, how are you?
I am so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Speak to the beer master, the beer maestro. How long have you been brewing for Roosters?
26 years now.
26 years.
26 years.
So you really are sort of the mastermind behind this entire line.
Yeah, I like to think so.
We featured Roosters in our very first season of Taste Utah, and there was just the downtown store. We've got like I think maybe 3 or 4 of these, and much smaller.
That's right.
So this is like a huge distribution warehouse. How big is it? How many of these vats are we doing? How many?
This is a 30-barrel system here.
Oh my gosh.
So we can make 30 barrels at a time, and these bigger fermenters can hold twice that, so 60 barrels in a big fermenter and 30 barrels in a small. So it's a big step up.
It's like you're not messing around with that.
Taking it seriously.
From the very beginning of the beer making process, what are we doing?
Any fermented beverage is basically providing yeast with something to eat, and then appreciating the effects that it creates. So like wine, everyone knows wine is just fermented grape juice. So it's the sugar in a grape that makes wine, right? The yeast eats it, makes alcohol, and changes the flavor.
Right.
In beer, you're fermenting the sugar from barley.
Okay, barley.
Barley.
Okay.
But of course, barley isn't juicy.
No.
So you can't just squeeze the juice out of it and ferment it.
No, you just crush it and you'd be so disappointed.
Right, you wouldn't get much out of it. So what we need to do is we need to get the sugar out of barley. Okay. And that starts with the malting company.
Okay.
They take a barley harvest.
Okay.
And they germinate it. They germinate it in these huge warehouses. And that begins the process of breakdown of starch to sugar.
That's before the barley even gets here.
That's correct. And when they get it to a certain point, then they'll they'll arrest that process, they'll dry out the grain, and they'll bag it.
Okay.
And so what we get is bags of malted, what they call malted barley.
And you just have these huge bags
They're
of different
55
kinds
pounds.
55 pounds. That's pretty
pounds.
huge to me. That's like it's like a middle school child.
Right, it is, yeah. So we'll add water and grain together in what's called the mash tun. You have a big stirrer in there, a big rake that stirs it. So at the end of that 45-minute resting period, you'll have two things in the mash tun. You will have the solid portion of the grain, the husks of the grain, and now a very sweet liquid called wort.
So in the mash tun, the only thing that goes in there is this crushed barley and water.
That's correct.
And hot water.
When we're done, we open up those valves. The liquid is able to go beneath the screen.
The wort.
The wort, correct. And you've been paying attention.
I'm taking mental notes.
You're doing a good job.
This isn't my first rodeo.
It's not your first brewery, I'm sure. So then we allow the wort then to flow into the kettle.
Okay.
And leaving all the grain behind.
Okay.
Now we want to make sure we get all the sugar we can out of that mash. So we shower it with more hot water, and that leaches through, pulls out the sugars, and everything gets into the kettle. And we want to bring that to a boil.
Okay.
Boiling will concentrate the wort. We'll lose some of it in steam. So we start with 34 barrels. We might end up with like 31.
Does it make it a little more potent then?
It does. It concentrates.
Yeah.
So that concentrates the wort. The wort in the kettle is when we also add the hops.
Okay.
The hop is the flower or the cone of a hop vine.
Okay.
And provides essentially two different things to beer. It gives beer bitterness to counter the sweetness. Hops also provide a fruity aroma or flowery aroma to a beer.
Yeah.
When the boil's complete then, we want to move the wort, the boiled wort, from the kettle to the next step, which is the whirlpool.
Then what happens?
What we'll do is we'll run it through what's called a heat exchanger. It's like a radiator.
Yeah.
After it comes out of the wort comes out of the heat exchanger, we run these sanitized lines to any one of these fermenters. We add the yeast on its way in.
Okay.
And you see here, this one's just about done, but you can see some bubbling in that bucket.
Yeah.
And what that is, the yeast has gotten acclimated to its new environment inside the fermenter.
Okay.
Is greedily consuming those sugars we broke down for it in the mashing step.
Okay.
And is producing, among other things, carbon dioxide and alcohol.
Yeah.
So there's the CO2.
It's a very scientific process, but just like anything with food, it's like there's this science and then there's this art. I'm curious to know a little bit more about the grain and just sort of what grain looks like when it's been clarified in a beer. Can we go kind of explore that?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. All right, Steve, so we have 3 different kinds of grains in front of us, or barley. Will you walk us through what these are?
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, the malting company will toast or roast the grains to a certain extent to add different colors and flavors.
Right.
And these are reflected in the beers. So this is a Pilsner malt.
Okay. This is considered pale. Because it kind of looks golden to me.
It is golden,
okay.
Yes. And you can have them even lighter than that.
Okay. And then
this is a caramel malt. Again, the way they roast it gives it kind of a caramel-like flavor. And this is the chocolate malt. It's nice and roasty. It gives a mocha, a coffee-like flavor to a beer, and that's reflected in our chocolate stout.
Awesome. So you have stout. This is more of
an amber,
and then this is pale.
That's correct.
All of this talk about liquid bread has actually made me really hungry. So I am going to go catch Pete in the kitchen.
He's the man.
But Steve, this has just been so special, and I really appreciate you. You're doing just extraordinary work.
Well,
so
thank you.
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Chef Pete, I just visited the brewery, spent some time with Steve. That was so epic. It was so cool. But I did work up an appetite. So you and I are going to sit down with Kim in a minute, but you're going to make us a dish right now.
I'm going to make our Roosters loaded nachos.
Loaded nachos.
Okay?
Oh, I love nachos.
Okay,
cool.
Good. You're in the right place.
Little foil goes down.
Yeah.
generous helping of tortilla chips.
Yep, homemade tortilla chips.
Oh, you're making these in-house?
Yeah.
Oh, they look...
Raquel spent the whole morning cutting tortillas and making chips, so
She's amazing.
that's why they're good. Because
Yeah.
the homemade chips are thicker, they can hold a lot of stuff.
I'm like
you know?
salivating just
Right.
over that.
Yep, yeah. Put a little bacon on
A little
them.
bacon. Oh, I love it.
And then we'll put some
Got
chicken
some
on
shredded
them. We'll
chicken.
have beans on them.
Nice.
You name it. Yeah.
And then a little queso.
And this is the secret ingredient, the pepper jack sauce.
Okay,
Right?
secret ingredient. And where are you getting your cheeses from, Chef?
We get a lot of our cheese from beehive cheese.
There's a really cool story behind that. We'll talk about it when we sit down
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Kim.
All right.
Oh, black beans, love them.
Beans over here. Yeah. Come back over to this side
Okay.
and put some serranos on.
Oh, serranos. A little bit of heat.
A little pico,
Pico, nice.
peppers,
Beautiful.
and melt it the rest of the way.
Put it up in the salamander.
A little salsa and guacamole.
Oh, that's a beautiful salsa. Is your salsa spicy?
It's pretty spicy.
Got
I
a
mean,
kick
but
to it.
survival rate's been pretty good.
Pretty high?
Yeah, so haven't had anybody just totally heal there.
Go
so
over like spit
yeah.
fire flame. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, I like mine. Just burn on the edges.
Yeah.
Not everybody does, so. Oh,
Oh, beautiful.
not on fire or any. And then a little guacamole.
Finish it with a nice, generous helping of guacamole because
That's
that's what
right.
makes nachos delish.
Okay,
All right.
and that's them.
That's it.
Right up on the line there.
Those are the loaded nachos.
Yeah.
Chef, that is, I feel like I want to go dive into those. Should I go take those to the table? I'll meet up with Kim and then you're gonna bring a couple of other dishes?
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
we'll do.
let's do it. Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, Chef.
All right.
Well, Kim and Pete, it's so nice to sit down with you again. So, you were literally on our very first season of Taste Utah. And we
Yes.
featured the Roosters on historic 25th Street. And it's amazing to see how you've grown. I mean, going on the beer tour was awesome. And then, of course, Pete's Food is just always the star of any
Always.
show. So much has happened since then. I mean, you've rebranded, basically.
I'm very excited to talk about that too, and food and whatever you want to talk
yeah.
about.
Let's talk about the rebranding first. I'm gonna take my mask off because I'm gonna manja this
You love
food.
food? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a little bit of my favorite taco, calamari.
Yum.
All right.
We'll get into that in a second, Pete.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm actually wearing a vintage shirt here.
Okay.
We are 25 years on
25
25th Street. So
Okay.
we celebrated 25 years in June of the pandemic, and we were going to close the whole street, have a big party, invite all of our neighbors and our food friends and everyone. We couldn't do that. So that's okay. We're still going to celebrate eventually.
Absolutely. Just patience is. I think this is what we've learned this year. Patience is sometimes the most effective form of action, but it doesn't make it easy.
What's kind of fun about this place is Pete took the best of his best, right? Like Pete's kind of known for his sauces and it just is good.
The naughty sauce, right?
Yeah, naughty sauce, wing sauce. He kind of took
Created the monster.
Yeah, kind of took the
now-
best of our menus from Roosters
Yeah.
Ogden and Roosters Layton, and here we go. So there's some
This is amazing.
delicious things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into the food first. We'll talk beer in a minute.
Okay.
Pete, what am I eating? They taste like cheese curds.
That's right. Well,
Best.
those are beehive cheese curds, and of course we beer batter them and fry them.
We have a big partnership with Beehive
so-
Cheese, and I love talking about that because
Yeah,
they're
sure.
just celebrating
Yeah.
their 15-year anniversary,
Okay.
and we were their first customers, literally first customers, and they're all over the nation. They're in Canada.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're huge,
Yeah.
and you know we would go and like kind of pimp cheese with them on their trips to Oregon and sell cheese. We'd like demo, and then we'd go and have good food and stuff at night. So they're dear friends of ours,
Oh my
and
gosh.
our menus at all of our places are Beehive Cheese heavy, and so
Feature
we
more
love
every
that.
can. And the curds, like, we just don't see that many places.
They're so
Curds
good.
are the best. And like, what's better just get done skiing, get off the trails, than just going and getting cheese curds. And then what are the two sauces that come with them?
The one is our house Louisiana hot sauce. that
Like
we
kind of like
use.
our wing
We
sauce.
use on a lot of things, and then it's also one of the naughty sauces. The other sauce is the Cajun remoulade.
A little spicy?
Yeah, but not too spicy.
Not hot, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's the thing about Cajun food,
Yeah.
right? It's not hot, but there's a lot of spice.
Well, it's like the naughty Brussels are
Being
going
consumed.
well over there.
They're called naughty
And,
Brussels.
Yeah.
What is the naughty sauce?
Gorgonzola sauce,
Okay.
pepper jack sauce, and the Louisiana hot sauce.
Oh my gosh, it's so
And,
good.
So that's the gorgonzola, this is the pepper jack cheese sauce, and then that's the
Okay.
Louisiana hot sauce.
Yeah. And you can do it the way you're doing it,
Yeah.
which is nice, or you could just take the sauces and go like this, right? Which is what
It's
some
like
people do, pour them all
triple
over.
naughty.
Yeah, right.
Okay, yeah. And then calamari tacos.
This is my favorite.
Okay.
So I buzz in and out of this place a lot. I'm at all 4 of our places a lot.
Plus,
but
you're like a
whenever-
community champion. Everyone knows Kim Bouchard for,
Oh, yes.
for Ogden here.
But whenever I come out here, they know what's my usual calamari taco.
Calamari.
I love these. They're really good. So that's what these
the
are.
nachos we know. We talked nachos. We saw them in the kitchen.
Right.
And I like
So
the
good.
guacamole.
Yep, and then
What about you?
Gorgonzola bacon burger here. I have people tell me that's the best Gorgonzola bacon burger they've had. Ours, the Gorgonzola, we use the Gorgonzola sauce on it as well. One of our
Gorgonzola
best.
2 ways. You got the cream sauce and then the actual crumbles on it.
Yeah, and then,
Well
it's one of our
done.
best sellers, so, yeah.
Do you offer like a vegan, vegetarian burger substitute or anything like that?
We have
Like
Impossible burgers.
Do you? Nice.
Yeah, and then you can convert your various items to, make it impossible. So we have buttons programmed in the point of sale for that. So
Oh,
if
that's
you want a
Impossible tacos.
Santa Fe salad, you want to use the Impossible meat, or you want us to make you a Philly cheese with the Impossible meat instead of the stuff we normally use.
That is so cool.
It's a really fun space out here.
Yeah, it's a very community vibe.
We went through a whole rebranding process when we did this big project.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really thoughtful, it was really collaborative with our amazing team. And kind of what we came up with is, we have a whole refresh of our Rooster, obviously. And sort of our tagline is great beer, gritty town, good people.
Oh, I love
And that's kind of
that.
what we are. We're a hardworking town. We have really great people that work for us. Like, it's so much more than me and Pete. That's why we have 4 places, or 3 Roosters and another restaurant.
So you just rebranded all the cans and everything.
The whole everything,
yeah,
the
all your
menus, our
locations.
whole website, our whole everything,
That's a big.
And we're
undertaking.
kind of about partnerships too. This is
Yeah.
one that we're pretty excited about. So, Pete and I have raised our kids on Snow Basin's Hill and Powder Mountain, but Snow Basin, we've been 25-year season pass holders, and
Nice.
this is their 80th anniversary. So we did this collab with them, and it's awesome because it means a lot to us that our family and our we're active, outdoor lifestyle.
Yeah.
All of that. So we didn't realize this when we staked our claim a while, like 25 years ago, that we
Yeah.
wanted to be a community gathering space first and a restaurant second. But luckily we got the best of both because we were here kind of early when Ogden was just beginning to experience a renaissance, especially in the last 15 years. But it's been fun to share our food and our beverages with music festivals and with the Art Center and Ogden Nature Center. It's a hub.
It's very clear, which is, I think, just such a gift. And it's been really hard this last year. Like you and I talked about it last season
Yeah.
when we did
Yeah, you
our
caught me
yeah.
like in June or something.
Yeah, when we
right?
did our Zoom call.
We were shut down at that time.
Yeah, we couldn't really even
We
be
were
in the
closed
same
for dining,
room,
yeah.
but we wanted to still talk food and educate people about what's going on. To hold down 3 stores under that and be opening a 4th, especially in an airport where right now travel is kind of,
Yeah. But
How have you
we're lucky
maneuvered?
for
Yeah.
Salt Lake because instead of opening every unit in that whole brand new shiny airport in September, it's kind of being phased in as the traffic is coming back, and now the vaccine's starting to get out, and
Yeah, absolutely.
so we're excited. It was kind of an opportunity that we weren't not necessarily. But we're excited because we're going to
Yeah.
be this warm, welcoming spot right as you enter.
People are going to eat there when they are coming to Utah. And then
They're going to
like,
get beehive cheese curd.
and they're like, and they're going to be like, where can I go get this? Just drive up to Ogden because it really is. It's like a 40-minute drive from Salt Lake City.
Right.
It's not bad at all.
And we have our place in Layton, so we do a
Yeah.
lot out there with the airport.
Yes, definitely.
We really are like a restaurant community up here, a hospitality community.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the little town that could, so we work together. You know, if the Sonora Grill needs something or so-and-so needs, you know, it's just like, we really are that, quote, rising tide raises all ships. I mean, because if you think about it, when Pete opened the Union Grill almost 30 years ago, there was almost nothing, you know. And then even when Roosters opened 25 years ago, and then to go, what I love more than anything is to walk out from here, because these are different mountain views. We have Ben Lomond and Mount Ogden.
Yeah.
To walk out and like look up at our mountains and just go, we live here and look what's kind of thrived around us, you know. And it's really cool because like, we have 3 sons and our boys are older now, and they're so proud to be part of this and to sort of recognize what's happened as they've grown up.
Yeah.
When we finally said we choose Ogden, like we choose it here, we like it here, we
didn't just end up here.
Yeah. I think they need me in the kitchen.
What she said? Wait, no.
We were talking to Sepoy Bakery, and they were saying how I was like, why Ogden? And how intentional they were to choose Ogden and then to choose to open a restaurant here.
Yeah, and they are lovely. What a gift they are to our town. People like them, right? Tona, Tina and Tony from Tona. I mean,
who we also featured in our very first season. It's so fun to see like what has grown up.
We're
in
going there
Ogden.
tonight for dinner at 7. My youngest, we're celebrating the end of swim season.
You're so lucky. Well, we lost Pete because he had to go into the kitchen.
Because Pete, that's the longest Pete will ever be on camera anywhere.
He is, and he's a working chef. Like
He's very,
It's a working kitchen.
Yeah.
But Kim, this has just been such an extraordinary experience, and I'm so grateful to sit down with you, and so grateful that you're part of the Utah restaurant community and really like a cornerstone for Ogden, and that's really special.
It is to us too.
Well,
so thanks
cheers.
so much
Cheers
for
with
coming
water,
up.
even though I know
All right, I'll
I know
cheers
it's
you.
bad.
There you go.